You sit on the couch and do nothing, staring at the ceiling, scrolling without really seeing. And yet in those moments, your brain is never truly still. The feeling is misleading. When you think you're inactive, your brain is burning an enormous amount of energy, as if there were a machine running at full power behind the silence. It is not just keeping you alive, it is building memories, linking fragments of the past, simulating the future, and preparing decisions you do not even know you will need to make. The real mystery is not why you think so much. It is why, even when you're not thinking about anything in particular, the brain keeps working anyway. Over the last few decades, neuroscience has completely changed the way we understand this phenomenon. Researchers like Marcus Reichel showed that the brain does not really switch off when you're doing nothing. Instead, it enters a different mode, more internal, quieter, but far from passive. Later, scientists such as Jonathan Smallwood and Maurizio Corbetta explored this hidden world in greater depth, linking it to the default mode network, the brain network that becomes active when the mind wanders, remembers, and imagines. To understand it, you have to change the question. Do not ask what the brain does when you are focused. Ask what it does when you seem lost in thought. When you're still, the brain does not shut down. It starts integrating again, revisiting, predicting. This is where something truly interesting happens. People often think that useful thinking is the visible kind, solving a problem, writing an email, studying, deciding, but a huge part of your mental life happens off stage, while you walk without a destination, while you stare out of a window, while you brush your teeth, or wait for the water to boil. Your brain is putting together pieces that seemed unrelated. A detail from yesterday connects to a memory from 10 years ago. A vague worry turns into insight. A face reappears. A sentence returns. A solution seems to appear from nowhere, but it never really came from nowhere. Your brain is a machine of associations. It does not just store information, it reshuffles it. That is why idleness can sometimes be productive. Not because it makes you magically creative, but because it removes the noise. If you're always busy, always distracted, always flooded with input, the internal network never gets enough space to do its hidden work. And that hidden work is enormous. That is where your sense of continuity is built. That is where your brain decides what truly matters. That is where part of your identity takes shape. In more recent work, Corbetta, Lorenzo Pini, and Gordon Schulman observed that certain brain activity patterns repeat even at rest, as if the mind were rehearsing its movements and decisions before actually carrying them out. You are not standing still. You are preparing the next move. Think about the silence after a busy day. You are not doing nothing. You're absorbing. You are reorganizing the chaos. That is the real dark energy inside your head. Not something mysterious in a fantasy sense. Something hidden, continuous, essential. When you feel switched off, you are often just in a different mode of functioning. When you are doing nothing, you're not absent. You are working behind the scenes. And in silence, your brain is doing one of the most extraordinary things it can do, holding together who you were, who you are, and who you might become. The next time you sit still and stare at nothing, remember this: that is not the moment when your brain stops working.